So how will that explanation land with other people in the Liberal Party? Well, let's ask our front bench. We have former BC Premier Christy Clark. She's a senior advisor with Bennett Jones. Rudy Husney is a political commentator and former Conservative leadership candidate. And we've got former NDP MP and BC Minister Nathan Cullen also here. He's now senior advisor at Strategy Corp. Thank you all for being here. Christy, you've been working the floor all day. What are you hearing from Liberals and how they feel about Marilyn Gladu's change of heart?
Well, I think they're thrilled. Everybody here wants to see the Liberal government get into a majority territory, so it's not so hard all the time to try and get everything done. And, you know, the thing people forget about members of Parliament is that each one of them gets elected saying they're going to represent their constituents as well as they can. Their conscience, their constituents, and their party. And with her coming over, what she's saying is, look, I hold these views. I'm prepared to live within the party's expectations of me and the party's positions on things. And that is her right as a member of Parliament that wants to represent herself and her constituents. And so in coming, what she's saying is, she wants to be part of the big program. There are a million issues on which Liberals disagree. You can find it out there any minute of the day. But she wants to be part of building Canada, the big project, getting resource development done, building pipelines, creating jobs across the country, building our alliances around the world, making us less dependent on the United States. That's the big project. And I think one of the things you see with Prime Minister Carney is he's not a man who gets distracted. And I think, you know, one of the things as voters and as Canadians we should think about when we look at floor crossers like Marilyn is, you know, maybe there are things that are more important to her than all of those other things that she used to talk about when she was a Conservative. This big project of Prime Minister Carney's has attracted a lot of Canadians' attention, and she's just one more of them, and, you know, good for her. If she puts the government into a majority territory, it makes it a lot easier to accomplish the goals the Prime Minister has set out.
Rudy, I mean, there is some validity to that, you know, big idea, big project, but in terms of sort of incorporating her into the tent, it may be a little more difficult than, let's say, a Matt Genereux or Chris D'Entremont, who are more red Tories. What is that going to be like for the party to try and sort of wrap their arms around her?
Look, just a few months ago, she was criticizing Mark Carney and the budget and Justin Trudeau and their economic policy. So it's just a question of why did she switch? I mean, what's the reason? I understand why Scott Bryson left the Progressive Conservative to become a Liberal. I even understand why Belinda Stronach changed. I even understand Stephen Guilbeault, why he decided to step down. But what's the reason exactly? She's a social conservative on the spectrum, very right-wing, and now she wants to become a Liberal. What is different from a month ago or 2 months ago when it comes to the Liberal government? Nothing changed. There's no pipelines. Are they doing one? We'll have to wait and see. So the question is, I don't understand why she changed from one party to the other without a clear reason. But at the end of the day, good luck to her. But I do feel that people are going to say we voted Conservative. She ran for the leadership of the Conservative Party of Canada
in 2020.
I know. I was a candidate too, and she was on the right spectrum.
How do you feel about them apples?
So that's why that's interesting. That's the big question. We still don't know why she moved. I mean, if she's not happy with the Conservative Party, she can be an independent. She doesn't need to be also with the Liberals.
Yeah, and Nathan, she said that she liked what she saw from Prime Minister Carney, but also said that she talked to people in her riding who told her that they were questioning Pierre Poilievre's leadership. He lost his seat. Weren't sure if he was the guy going forward.
Yeah, but I talked to 3 guys at the Tim Hortons this morning that said I was really good looking. That doesn't make it true. I think she also said, and I'm wondering about this, just a few months ago, that anybody who wants to get out of their party should step down and have a by-election. Because I do feel like the voters are left out of this conversation. It wasn't like it was a very close vote in her riding. She won handily.
53%.
And we know by all the research, Ipsos has stuff on this, that the reason an MP gets elected is a combination of factors. Leader, program, the party itself, and that the local candidate represents between 5 and 7% of why most Canadians vote for them. That's quite humbling for those of us that have served in elected office. It's also the reality. I think there needs to be more humility in this question about floor crossing. I get the dynamics, and maybe there's an offer made or there's more opportunity over on this side or that side. But Canadians are left feeling even more cynical than they were before because they sent her to do a job on behalf of this party, this brand, this leader. If she had a fallout with Pierre and said, I just don't like him anymore, he insulted me, but these social values you talk about, it's pretty amazing to me that if you don't like these set of values, I've got another set for you, is not a very appealing thing, because if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And I think I get the pursuit of power, and I understand that's the central organizing principle of the Federal Liberal Party of Canada, and it's been very good for them. But this is today is one thing. I'm more interested in 6 months out, 12 months out. It's a great big tent. It may be so big that when the winds come, it's going to be really hard to keep this tent up. And that's a more of a challenge for the Prime Minister, not today, but in days to come.
For the record, those three people at Tim Hortons think you had more of a pull when you were elected. That wasn't just 5
I'm not sure any of them were sober, Mike. They thought my hair looked great as well.
I think you're very handsome.
Thank you. Thank you, Christy. That's 4.
Yeah. Christy, what does this do to people who have carried the flag for the Liberals for so long? How do they feel about this and her coming in now, being raised up on the stage yesterday? You know, I'm thinking of some people that, you know, have not had that opportunity. How do they feel with her coming in now?
Liberals love it. We get closer to having a majority, which means that the Liberal agenda gets closer to being accomplished. And then I think that's something a lot of Canadians buy into. But the other thing is, Liberals have always had people of different values, people that are pro-choice and pro-life in the party, people with different views about the LGBTQ. I mean, that's always been the case. I remember getting up at conventions when I was a kid and lambasting cabinet ministers on both of those issues. The Liberal Party is the only party in the House of Commons that is not a doctrinaire, ideologically driven party. It's a party that welcomes people of all points of views, that are allowed to represent their constituents, that are allowed to represent their communities, and when they come, they need to buy into the big program. But accepting that there are going to be differences of opinion among them, I think that's healthy for democracy.
Okay, I'm gonna go Rudy and then Nathan, if I can squeeze him in. Go ahead, Rudy.
But it sounds and it looks like the Liberal Party is a machine, and they can switch sides, and everybody is welcome. You know what? We like the carbon tax. Oh, you don't like the carbon tax? We'll change the carbon tax. Oh, we're against abortion. Oh, you're for? Okay, let's change it and bring it in. At the end of the day, people voted for a Conservative member of Parliament, especially in that riding. And again, we don't know what exactly, just because, we can have a majority. I mean, if you want a majority, normally you return to the polls and you ask for a majority. Canadian elected a minority government, giving the balance of power to two parties, the Bloc Québécois and the Conservatives, saying, you know what? You have to get along. You have to find a consensus. And even, for example, on the budget, on fast tracking, for example, big project, they were able, the Liberal government, there's no obstruction right now in Ottawa. I haven't seen any obstruction when it comes to the big bills of this government. So government was working. All they wanted was the full power that, you know what, Canadians didn't give them in the polls.
Nathan, I'm going to give you about 20 seconds.
That was it. What have the Liberals not been able to get done? I think the grand bargain coalition of the Conservative and Liberals has been what we've seen since the last election. I don't know of anything significant the Liberals have tried to put forward, but partly because they stole a lot of it from the Conservative playbook that the Conservatives haven't supported in past.
Yeah.
So the majority for majority's sake doesn't make any sense if Parliament is actually working and the Liberals are getting the agenda through that they wanted, which they have been. I haven't heard a single Liberal complain about Parliament that I've talked to this weekend.
But let's remember, nobody at the Liberal Party, nobody said, Marilyn Gladu, we have to have you. We're going to make you come over. She decided to do that. She decided she wanted to help make this
and
majority.
Mr. Carney said, you're welcome here with your...
Of course.
Yeah, but they put her on stage.
Everyone's welcome in the Liberal Party of Canada.
They put her on stage. I mean, imagine you're a Liberal, long-standing Liberal backbencher. You never get the exposure of having a Prime Minister and speak at the
They should go to the Conservatives and then cross back.
I mean, come on.
That's the way to get on stage.
Okay.